Hello and welcome to another dev diary for Imperator Rome. Now last week we had a dev diary that was great. We had a bunch of new stuff being shown off, stuff that was coming in the future patches and when the Cicero beta stopped being a beta. The couple of weeks before that was stuff that we'd already seen, stuff that we were already playing with, all the things that Johan had already posted about. This week seems to be a bit of both, so we're going over some things that are already in but haven't been put into a dev diary, I guess, and then we've also got some new stuff at the end. So for the stuff that we've already seen, I'm mostly going to be skimming over and giving my opinion on, and then we'll go and we'll have a look at the new stuff at the end. So let's get into it. So first off, we got the Republican laws, and I gotta admit, I haven't played a whole lot with republics in the Cicero beta. I've been mostly tribal and monarchy. But from what I gather, basically the story is the laws that you pass when you're a republic will affect your faction. So your militarist faction, the civic faction, and the populists, and I don't know, there's another one, but I forget the name of it. But basically, the laws you pass, you might get some really nice bonuses, but it might empower the populists, like you can see in this image here. Citizen output plus 20% is fantastic, but making the populists more influential, not so great. And I guess that's quite a difficult balance to have, but I guess if you can do it, then yeah, that's fantastic. I've yet to have really a big run with a republic, so I can't really give that much of an opinion on this one, but I do plan to go and play Rome at some point after Cicero drops, so I guess I'm going to see then. Religious faction, that's it. It's a religious faction, that's the other one. Anyway, I shouldn't have just jumped. Whatever, let's move on. Monarchy laws. Now these I really like. What you've got is on one side you have some laws that if you pass them, your generals will be really in favor of it and you get monthly loyalty, but the governors don't. And on the other side, you've got laws that the governors will really like and they get loyalty, but the generals don't. And you've got to balance it, and I really like the balance. There is some balancing, let's say, that needs to be done though, because let's take, for example, this second section here. Exemption for nobility, negative 15% army maintenance cost, is huge. It's absolutely amazing. This makes your generals really happy and your governors unhappy, 0.05 loyalty a month. So you want to balance that out. So you go over here to the maritime laws, plus 15% commerce. Generals less happy, governors more happy. And basically what you're basically doing here is these are cancelling each other out and you're just getting 15% cheaper troops and 15% more commerce. It's a no-brainer in that regard. So the other ones really aren't worth it. Anti-piracy edict, not really worth it. Manpower recovery speed is quite nice. I think that's what it is anyway. And there's nothing here, so nothing really to worry about. But yeah, it's just this is too good. But the rest seem a bit more balanced from my experience, so that's really good. I like the monarchy laws. I like the way it works. So yes, I like it. And now tribal laws. Basically, if you are going the negative centralization route, so you're going towards a migratory tribe, you go down this route. You get some really nice bonuses in various places. This one here is +4 pop conversion speed, if I remember rightly, and it's really good. And these laws will generally tank your centralization, and if you're going that direction, that's really good. On this side, you want your centralization to go up, and you can only take the laws once your centralization has reached that point that you need it. So yeah, tribal laws as well, very happy with. I think it works out really well. Very flavorful, I guess. And now, changes to character interactions. I actually hadn't seen this in a dev diary or a post, but I have experienced it while playing. So basically, when you are trying to marry your ruler or your kids off to a different family, the head of that family will either like the idea of marrying into your family or not. If they do, then there's a loyalty boost. I think there's a popularity boost as well, if I remember. But if they don't like it, then you have to pay a dowry for the bride. And yeah, as you can see, if you're Maurya and you've got a huge income, that's quite expensive. And I mean, he's already in debt, so I doubt he's going to be going with this. But yeah, it's it can be rough, but I like it. It's just more flavor. And I mean, one of the big complaints about Imperator was that there wasn't enough flavor, and I mean, this is flavor, so yay. Regional nicknames, they're fine. They don't really do all that much. Basically, you'll make your governor have the name of the region he's governing in his name. He'll get a little bit more popularity. You'll lose popularity for some reason, and then he gains prestige, which I still really don't quite understand what prestige does, other than maybe makes them want more jobs before they become a scorned family. I'm not sure, but it's okay. It's fine. Generals are able to acquire regional nicknames. It's now possible to grant these directly to a governor under control. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's flavor. And flavor is good, as I just said. Imposing corruption sanctions is interesting. If you can keep a person loyal and just keep imposing corruption sanctions, I mean, it might be worth it, but it's a 1-to-1. If you want to get rid of 40 corruption, it's going to tank his loyalty by 40. And it costs you tyranny, so it's quite painful. You only really want to do this in, like, dire circumstances. And generally, if they're reaching this amount of corruption, it's probably because you're giving them free hands. And yeah, it can be quite rough. Power base and loyalty, we've already gone over this very, very much. I like power base. I think it's a good system. I do think there needs to be a little bit more balancing, because Civil Wars is not something that fires as often as it used to. But maybe that's the intention, I don't know. And now we've got changes since the open beta, so this is the new stuff. As the final release of this update draws nearer, most of the things I talk about in this diary will be already known to most of you who have been playing the open beta. Therefore, here are some more assorted things we've changed since the last open version. So, first things first, nice UI. I think nice UI on the side for the buildings, instead of it just being weird and clunky in the middle. It's, yeah, having it over the side, that's good. Now, if they could change it so that more things would appear over the side, like for instance, when you click this button, that would be really nice. Maybe it will be. I quite like the art design on these as well. They're very... They're subtle, and I think that's good. What would be really nice is if they sort of gained a little bit of color if you built them. That would be quite nice. So, for instance, I think this is a foundry. I can't remember. I think this is a foundry. What would be nice is if this was colored in, like maybe, you know, a bit of red. Actually, it's a granary, isn't it? Because this is grain in the middle. Maybe the grain. Oh God. Maybe the grain would be colored in and the building would be colored in if you already have them. He has 9 of them, so yeah, why not? But anyway, the view for constructing buildings has had an overhaul, and the buttons for upgrading cities or revoking city status can now be found here. They're on the bottom here. Very nice. Revoking city status no longer costs political influence, instead it only costs tyranny. This cost is heavily discounted for tribes. Upgrading a settlement into a city, the city to a metropolis no longer has a scaling gold cost, instead it costs a flat amount. That's something we already knew. Founding a city will now remove a local food trade good in a location, replacing it with something else. Should city status be revoked, the old food trade good will be returned. AI countries will avoid turning food producing settlements into cities, and honestly, so have I. Though I wonder, could you like cheese it so you can maybe upgrade into a city, revoke, and if you don't like the trade good, revoke it, put it back into a city, revoke it, and see if you can get some really sexy trade good? I don't know. A bug where local modifiers sometimes didn't count, also known as the marketplaces do nothing bug, has been fixed, very nice, and AI monarchies will be a bit better at dealing with tyranny by being more selective in how they use the ability to demand support for their heir. Yeah, it was very apparent when you were playing multiplayer especially. If somebody got knocked out and had to be placed in a new nation, they would go into that new nation and see their tyranny at like 60 or something crazy, because the AI really liked spamming that button, and yeah, it made them fall apart. So maybe it's gonna make some AI nations be a little bit more stable in the future, perhaps. But that would be nice. Anyway, that's unfortunately all we've got, which is unfortunate because I was hoping for a little bit more. But yeah, that's the dev diary. So I would love to know what you think. Do you like this UI? Do you think these building icons look decent, look good? Do you prefer the icons that were in Agama Days 1.2 I don't remember what the name of the mod was called. 1.2 icons, I think. He had some really nice icons in there. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to, immediately put them into the game, because I assume he didn't draw them himself, and they would have been from like Total War or something. But yeah, I quite like them. I also quite like these. I'm not sure which one I prefer yet, but I'd love to know your opinions, so please do leave them in the comment section below. If you want to keep up to date with any and all Imperator Rome news, then, subscription right there. It's subscribe, bells and stuff. I don't know, YouTube, but you know what to do. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.